Hey, what's going on, guys? Adam here with 80 Proof Goods, and I'm back with another Dopp kit video, and this time it's something that I haven't done before. This Bordeaux Minerva has been in my shop for a couple of months, and I have yet to make a Dopp kit out of it. It's usually just been pretty much exclusively made for watch bands, not for any really good reason. It just hasn't gotten that far yet. But I got a particular request from a repeat customer looking for a Bordeaux Minerva Dopp kit, and you know, I had to oblige and I had to film it since it's the first time making it. Now, he specifically wanted it to be paired up with gunmetal gray stitching, which I think is a beautiful choice, and you'll see that a little bit later in the video. But before we jump the gun and before we get that far in, let me talk you through what you're looking at. So I have an acrylic template that I cut with my Glowforge, which helps me hand cut these guys. At the time I made that template, I didn't have a Glowforge Pro to cut longer pieces, so I cut this little template that allowed me to cut the larger Dopp kit on my desk. Once the template's all cut out, I get my zipper cut to spec, so I want to make sure it's the right length, which you saw me cut with some scissors. It took me a while to figure out that scissors were the best way to cut a zipper. I had this special pliers tool that like clipped the teeth. It's just excessive. Scissors work perfectly well. And I use this Tandy double-sided adhesive tape. It's 1/8 of an inch thick, which is perfect for adhering fabrics like a zipper fabric to the leather itself, preparing it for stitching. I wouldn't use it on, say, like the edge of a product, like the edge of a wallet. You want to glue that stuff down to get a really good bond for the edge. But if you're just gluing down something like a card slot or something that won't be the edge of a product, won't be a visible edge, you can just use tape and then hit it with the stitching, because the stitching is ultimately what's going to hold it together regardless. Now, this customer requested some laser engraving of their initials, so that's what you saw me do with the Glowforge there. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Obviously, it's a pretty niche thing. I offer free engravings on every product. It doesn't cost a damn thing, no matter what you want engraved, but I just throw it in the Glowforge and let it go. And then from there, I get right back into it. I want to do the laser engraving before the Dopp kit comes together, because obviously once the Dopp kit's together, it's like 2 inches thick, which is too thick for the Glowforge, so I do it when it's flat still. From here, I'm taping together the accessories at the ends. So at each end, there is a loop. One end's going to get a D-ring, and the other end's just going to be the pull tab, which you saw me tape down there. And then I put the zipper through, and obviously this has to be inside out. When you're making bags, you do everything, stitch it everything inside out, and then flip the bag, I guess right side out, I guess you would say, just because that's, you know, how bags will work. You want to make sure those edges and the seams get all tucked in when you flip it. So here I'm pinching those seams, or the edges or corners, I guess you should say, together, and I use these binder clips to hold it so that I can stitch it at my sewing machine. Now, my sewing machine that I use is a Cobra Class 26. I've had it for about a year, and it's obviously one of the most useful things that I've purchased for the shop, with the exception of the Glowforge. I use it for all of my bigger equipment, all of my bigger projects, I should say. I still hand stitch things like watch bands and some wallets and things like that, but bigger projects, I like to ramp up production and use that sewing machine. So here you go, everything's all together. Antique brass hardware. It's got a maple colored zipper fabric with antique brass teeth, gunmetal gray stitching, antique brass D-ring. So all of those colors, I think, really match together with that Bordeaux really nicely. The gunmetal gray matches really well. You could definitely go with a burgundy stitching to make it a more monotone look, but I like the pop of a little bit of contrast on the gunmetal. Ivory would have done the same. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of the color combo.